This video is going to cover the Casio FX991EX Classwiz. It's a newer version of the Casio FX115ES Plus. The display is black on a greenish gray as opposed to blue on a greenish gray. It's a higher resolution, so the individual pixels are barely visible. Because of this, the font size is 2/3 of the 115s, allowing more to appear on screen. Keys are more rectangular and oval, and the top row keys are a different shape. A few of the function keys have been moved around, and a new X variable key and option key appear. This video will cover the treatment of fractions and radicals, the factoring function, the degree, hour, minute, second to decimal hour degree conversion, the 9 memory registers, and the calculate and solve keys. Starting out, if I type in 4/6, and then I have to right arrow here in order to get the full-size cursor, plus 3/27. I might have to do a lot of conversions to find out what this is and reduce it to lowest common denominator, but if I hit the enter key, this does it for me. And that's the perfectly correct answer. You can type in anything. If you aren't sure about something, when you reduce it to lowest common denominator, and you say 27/81, and just hit the enter key, it does it for you. It's actually 1/3. Okay, and if you have an improper fraction like 16/3, you got to hit the enter key to get it down there. The SD key will give you the decimal form of it, 5.333, etc. Or if you go Shift SD, that will give you the proper fraction, 5 1/3. Another neat feature of this is when you have something like 2/3, and you've got a radical on the bottom. To normalize it, you have to multiply top and bottom by the √3. But you don't have to with this calculator because you just hit the enter key. It does it automatically. 2 square roots of 3/3 is what it is when it's normalized. Okay. Now, if we're going to factor a big number like 36,750, you'd have to start out dividing by 2, and when you run out of ability to do that, divide by 3, etc. Okay. If you hit the enter key and it comes down like this, and you go ahead and hit Shift, and then this degree, minutes, and seconds key above it, it says FACT, or reads that. Hit your button and it breaks it down into factors. It's 2 times 3 times 5 times 5 times 5 times 7 times 7. And just to change it up a little bit, if I go delete and put a 1 in there, hit my enter key and go Shift and hit the factor, it's 11 times 13 times 257. So you'd waste a lot of time trying to divide by 2, and then trying to divide by 3, trying to divide by 5, trying to divide by 7, trying to divide by 11, and then dividing by 13 when you found out you couldn't divide by 11 a second time. Then you find out you couldn't divide by 13 a second time, so you go ahead, maybe, if you hadn't already taken the square root of that number, try to divide by 17. But 257 is a prime number. Okay, if I just change this a little bit, and go, a little bit, and change that to a 6. Now I hit the equals key, and now I go to Shift and the factor key. It comes out 36,761, and that tells me that 36,751 is a prime number. That would have taken a long time to find otherwise. So that's a biggie for me. It helps out a lot. Okay, say you got a problem. It takes 3 hours and 37 minutes to get to Grandma's house traveling 67 miles per hour. How far away is it? Okay, let's go 3 hours, 3, and I hit this key. It can be hours instead of degrees, doesn't really matter. And we're going to say 37 minutes, so we go 37, and I hit this key, and you see the little circle appear up there. Now I'm going to hit the enter key, and we see it's 3 degrees, which means 3 hours, 37 minutes, and 0 seconds. Now, if I hit the SD key, you see the fraction, but I'm going to hit it again. You see that's 3.61666666. hours. So now I can multiply this times 67. Okay, so I just go times 67 equals. Now, here's the thing. Because that was in degrees, minutes, and seconds, I want to have to hit the SD key. And this tells me it's 14,539 over 60. Hit the SD key again. That's 242.31 and 2/3 miles. Okay? Kind of handy. It'll save you a lot of times, a lot of mistakes where you're given hours and minutes and you have to convert it to decimal parts of an hour. Okay, here's another one you might get. Jake pedals his bike at 15 miles per hour. How long does it take for him to travel 21 miles in hours, minutes, and seconds? Okay, it's a pretty simple problem. It's 21 divided by 15, and that gives us 7/5 of an hour. But if we have to have it in hours and minutes, here's all we do. Hit this key, and there we go. It says 1 degree, but it really means 1 hour, 24 minutes, 0 seconds. How cool is that? Okay, this calculator has 9 registers. There's A register, B register, C register, D, E, and F, and it's got the X, Y, in the memory register. Okay, so we're going to do a little problem here. I'm going to go 9. Store. Now once I hit store, these alpha keys come into play. So that's a red A above it. I just hit this and it shows 9 goes to A. Okay, now I'm going to go 7, store, and I'm going to hit that key, which has a B above it. And now, excuse me, I'm going to go shift, store, which is a recall. And here's a neat feature. If I write an equation this way and use the recall, it's going to show me what's in all the registers in case I forgot. So I'm going to hit the minus key or negate key, which has the A above it, and it's going to put an A in there, but I know that's a 9. And now I'm going to put plus, and this time I'm going to use the alpha key, alpha, and then B, and then I hit plus, or I hit the equal key, and we end up with 16. So 9 and 7 is 16. So I have those numbers stored in there. I like the fact that when you hit the recall now, because the high resolution screen, it can show you what's in all the registers, so you make sure what you use. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to use the calc. Say you have a bunch of problems, giving you the radius, and you have to calculate the area. Okay, so instead of using alpha, well, I'm going to use the shift key, and I'm going to go down here. It's the times 10. It has the pi sign above it. And then I'm going to use the variable x. They put a special key up here so I don't have to go alpha and then come down here to the x. I can just hit the x key. Puts an x in. Now I want the x squared, so I hit this one, x squared. And now I can use the calc key. If I hit calc, it's going to ask me for an x value. This one was in the register already, but let's say, for instance, it was radius is 4. All I have to do is hit the equals key until I get an answer, which would be 16 pi. And if you don't need the exact answer, just hit the SD key, and it'll give you 50.256 or 265, and all the rest of the numbers. If I got to use it again, all I do is hit calc, and a new value, let's say it was a radius of 6, so I type 6 equals again, and I get 36 pi or 113.097, etc. Okay, now that's how you use the calc key, and you do it over and over. Now if I'm going to go up here, I'm going to use my left arrow and get in front of this. I'm going to use alpha and then A to put the A in. Stands for area. And then I'm going to use alpha, and above the calc on the right is equal sign. And now I can use solve. It's kind of unique. Okay. Say these were areas of a circle, but in some cases you're given the area, you have to find the radius. In some cases you're given the radius, you have to find the area. Okay. We can do that now. We can go with shift and above calc is solve. Okay. Right now it's asking us for a value for the area. And let's say we want to use an area of 100 square units, and I want to hit the equals key, and I want to find out what the radius equals, and X stands for radius right now. So all I'm going to do here is hit equals, and this solves it for me. Radius for an area of 100 would have to be 5.641895835, and the L minus R equals 0 means that there's no error there. That means that's pretty much the exact answer as far as the decimals go, and I can be satisfied with that. Okay, let's say I have another problem, and I'm going to use shift and solve again, and this time I'm given the radius. Okay, and we have to find the area, and the radius they give me is 7, so I type 7, hit my enter once. Okay, I'm not going to hit it again because I'm going to go up. I want to find the area. Area right now is 100, but when I hit the equals key, it calculates what it is. With the radius of 7 squared is 49, and 49 times 2.14 is going to be 153.938. So you can keep on going like this. Every time you go with shift solve, you'll be able to put in what you know, either the area or the radius, and come up with the answer. Okay, another problem you may come across, it may not give you the radius. I might give you the diameter. Well, that's kind of okay, because all you have to do for the X value is whatever they give you. Well, let's say they gave you 42 for the diameter, and you just put divided by 2 and hit the equals key, and you see immediately it gives you what the radius is. And now since we got the radius and we want to find the area, just key up to the area, hit the equals key, and there you go. It's 1,385.44236 for the area. So this is fun, and it's really easy to do, but you have to get used to it. Okay, you have to get used to it. The thing you find has to be the one that's shown in the viewfinder when you push the equal key for the final time, because you can go back and forth and change A and X all you want, but it's whatever is hovering over when you push the equals key, that's going to give you the answer. So I think all this will save you a lot of time. I think it's a great calculator, and this is only the first video I'm doing. I'm going to do a whole bunch more to show you how to use some of the other functions on it. As a matter of fact, even some of the keys that I haven't covered. So long for now.